Hello art people, we are going to start a new art project here. We're going to be making some hearts in a mason jar, a cute little drawing, and let's go ahead and get started. So we are going to have a nice large mason jar here. The first thing we're going to want to draw is the lid. So towards the top of your paper, you can just draw an oval. And this is going to be the top of the lid. All right, something like that. And the next thing we're going to do are the sides of this top of the lid here. So you're just going to do 2 vertical lines going down from the left and the right side of the oval. Okay. Very good. And this lid can be a tall lid, a short lid, however you want it to be. And for the next part, we're actually just going to draw a curved line here to connect the line here and the line here. So something like this. And in theory, the bottom of our oval is the same line as the bottom of the lid. Let's just move down a little bit. It's kind of like a copy paste. Just put it down a little further. That's kind of the key to it. Even though mine's a little more flat up here. It still works if it's not the same, but if it's the same, that's nice. Now we're going to draw the neck of the mason jar. So you can just draw a little line here on both sides. And same thing, you can have the neck be really tall or really short or non-existent. You could skip this part. But I'm just going to make mine a little skinnier first before it blooms out. Okay. Now, from here, I'm going to go ahead and decide what shape and how big I want the mason jar to be. So I'm going to draw this really lightly because I'm going to be using this just as a guide for when I actually draw the mason jar. So I'm going to draw a rectangle. I want it to be about this wide. And of course, we want it to be equal on both sides. And then maybe about this tall. This is just a guideline for myself for when I draw the mason jar. So yeah, yours can be shorter, longer, you know, whatever you want it to be. I mean, you don't even have to make your mason jar a rectangle if you want. If you wanted to do a heart-shaped mason jar, maybe it's flat on the bottom so it doesn't fall over. But okay, so now that I've decided how I want it to be, now I'm actually going to draw the rectangle. With mason jars, we like to draw them curved on the sides. So I'm just going to start with this corner over here and do a curved line right in front of it, right inside of it, like that. And then, so I'm kind of just trimming off the sharp point of this corner. And then I'll go down, I'll trace over my initial line here. And then once I get towards the bottom, I'm going to go ahead and do a curve line. So just trimming off that corner like I did up here. Okay. Then you can just go across. And before you get to the corner, if you want to trim off this part with the curve so it matches on both sides, you can definitely do that. And then we can just finish this up here and curve it up at the top as well. And then go ahead and connect it back up. And if you can kind of look at yours and decide like, oh, is it really perfect or do I need to fix it a bit? I think I need to fix mine a little bit. Yeah, and in theory it's the same on both sides and it's perfectly symmetrical, but you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. As long as you do your best and have fun. That is what art is all about, is just doing your best and having fun. So as long as you're having fun, you are good. It does not need to be perfect. Art is not about being perfect. Okay, so now I'm just erasing all of those sketch lines, or what we call them. Kind of the lines that you make to guide your drawing. Just erasing those. I don't need them anymore because they were just my little map, right? Okay, good. Okay, so we've got our mason jar. So now what we're actually going to do is we're going to show that the glass has thickness to it. And we'll just do this exact same mason jar outline inside of the mason jar a little bit. So you can start right here and just go all the way around. This, and sometimes it's nice to turn your paper if it's really comfortable for you to draw lines one way. You can turn your paper to be that way. Okay. There we go. And now we're going to draw just a little hill down here. This is going to be for the snow. So we're being kind of inspired by the Northern Lights for this artwork. And the Northern Lights are just really all these beautiful colors. And they're in Alaska where it's really snowy. So we're just going to draw a little hill here. That's going to be snow. Or it can be straight across or it can be wavy. This is where my snow is. And I'm drawing this really lightly, because I'm going to have to erase part of it in a second. Just very lightly like this. Okay. And now this is where you can put your heart. And you don't have to put a heart. You can do a snowman. You can do a star. You can draw whatever you want in your snow. So it's kind of like a snow globe mason jar type thing. But I'll go ahead and draw a heart on my snow. And then, of course, anytime we draw over something, we have to erase what we covered up. That's called overlap. So my heart is overlapping my snow, so I have to erase the part of the snow that it's in front of. That's why I said to draw that part light, because I knew we were going to have to erase some of it. Okay? Okay, so now what we can do is we can add the details to the mason jar lid. So we can just do some extra curve lines up here to show that the texture in the mason jar lid, it's a bumpy texture. And on the top of a lot of mason jars, it's actually has more lines that helps you grip the mason jar to open it. So we can draw these lines that are going up and down too. If you want to add those, you are welcome to. Like that. And also, mason jars, usually the tops of the lids actually have a little divot in it. It goes in a little bit. So you can draw another oval up here if you want. So then it looks like it goes down a little bit in there, right? Okay. And we can actually add the shadow to really make it look like it goes down a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw a stretched out letter C inside of this like that. I'll zoom in so you guys can see. That's my microphone. There you go. See that? I just drew this. See here. Okay. And we can even shade that in if you want. Shading also helps things look three-dimensional, right? Okay, there you go. Okay, now I'm going to actually do some designs on my heart. So I'm going to do a Zentangle design. So for a Zentangle, that just means a lot of little tiny patterns. And first I'm going to make sections on my heart for those patterns. So I'm just going to start at a random place on my heart and then just do a random line. There we go. That's fine. And once you do a random line, then you've given yourself all these different sections. Like I have 1, 2, 3, 4 sections that I can do my designs in. So for instance, I could do some zigzags in this one. Go ahead and start working on decorating whatever item you put in your mason jar, snow globe type design. And then I might do some polka dots over here. Maybe some rainbow lines in this one. And some straight lines in this one. Now we can go into these patterns and make them more intricate by adding more details to each of the patterns. So for instance, what's something I could do to these polka dots to make it even better? I could draw circles around the polka dots. I could add stars. I could do all sorts of things. So now you're going to just add to each of your patterns, or whatever you have done to decorate your item, you are going to add to it now. Take it to the next level somehow. And this one, I'm going to do lines going this way. Now it makes a checkered pattern. This one, I can add circles on the bottom corner. Okay. And you can also start filling in some of the parts of your pattern with your pencil. So what will be really cool is if we keep this item that we've put in our mason jar, whatever it is, what would be really nice is if we just use our pencil to make it instead of doing colors, because our sky is going to be really colorful. The northern lights are very colorful, and that way our gray and white item will really pop out, and it'll have it'll be really different than our background. So if we do both the background and our item and our snow colorful, then the item and our snow might get lost. It might be hard to see it because it will just blend in with all the colors we do in our background. So we do kind of want to make this just with our pencil, this item here. So this video is, we're just using pencil in this video, but later in the project we'll use colors. Okay, so alright guys, and that is it for this video. You guys did an awesome job, and I will see you guys in the next one.